before they left our shores to prepare for the Olympics, I caught up with 5 female divers who will represent Australia in Paris. First up, I chat to the experienced 3-metre synchro duo Anabelle Smith, followed by Maddi Keeney. Annabelle, it's great to be chatting to you. Heading back for your third games. The build-up is very different, I guess. There's no COVID this time. How exciting is it?
So exciting. I think everyone's really excited for these Olympics to feel like how we remember the Olympic Games to feel, and for all that energy to be there, for there to be crowds, everyone enjoying it. So yeah, I'm super pumped.
Yeah, and I guess like this time around, it's also a 3-year window instead of a 4-year window. Do you enjoy that? Or
yeah, it has felt pretty quick, but also I think so much has changed since COVID that feels like a completely separate time. So yeah, I think it worked well for me because I'm getting pretty old. So the 3-year difference was actually quite good.
No, you're not getting old. Don't say that. Actually just wanted to ask about you and Maddi, just kind of as a duo. You do a lot of training together, although I think you're based in different states. Like, how does that actually work?
Yeah, so I'm based in Melbourne and Maddi's based in Brisbane. So we've actually just had a big period of training. She came to Melbourne for a week, then I was in Brisbane for a week. So that's kind of enough time for us to get our timing back, and then we're obviously together now to the Olympics. But it's kind of nice for us to have our home bases elsewhere, and then we do as much training as we can.
Yeah, and I guess like you work so well together as well. You've been together so long. Why do you think that is, despite living in those different states?
Yeah, I think we've just got a really good foundation, and we obviously travel a lot for competition, so we do train together quite a bit throughout the year. But yeah, I think we just both know each other well now, and our technique is very similar, so when we do come back together, it doesn't take too long to get back in sync.
I imagine you guys are pretty close. Obviously, like, you've been diving for like a decade now. Like, did it feel weird when you were at the last games?
Yeah, it was a long time ago now, so I feel like we're different people, but yeah, we know each other really well and we get along really great. She's one of my closest friends, so we're quite different people, like have different interests, but then obviously we come together and we figure it out in diving, and we have common interests as well.
And I guess like when you guys are in the hotel room, whatever, like before like a big event, like what do you chat about? Do you just chat about diving?
Well, we try and keep it pretty like casual and like funny, and we're always joking around. We have a lot of inside jokes, so we like to keep the energy like
inside jokes. Yeah. Okay. Seems like you have a good energy.
Yeah.
And I also wanted to ask, you came second at the World Aquatic Championships in Doha this year, so it feels like you've been in pretty good form, and also bronze at I guess those last games in Tokyo. Like, how much just like motivation is there just to get that gold?
Yeah, we've got really good momentum, and we've got good confidence, I think, in our diving and in our ability, and just so much experience. So we're really going to draw on that in Paris, and honestly, we just want to dive well, and whatever that result ends up being, what will be. But yeah, we've put ourselves in a really good position to get some success, so we're going to wait and see.
Yeah, and I guess it really does come down to like how you're performing on the day, but is gold something that you definitely believe you can achieve in Paris?
Yeah, anything can happen in a diving competition. It's you got 2 seconds to do a dive, and you do 5 different dives in a diving competition, so anything can sort of happen, but we're really prepared, and we've got our standards set pretty high, so we hope we're standing on the podium.
It's one of the unique things about diving, I guess.
Yes.
And there's just, I guess, on a bit of a different note, something I wanted to also ask about. I think you made a post a little while ago just about how people are kind of commenting on your body, and I guess just using your platform, I guess, as an Olympian to like spread awareness about that. Like, why is that so important to you?
Yeah, I think I've had a pretty long career now, and have obviously grown from competing for Australia from like 14, 15 all the way through now I'm 31. So, you kind of go through puberty, and we're in a sport where we're on show, we're in bathers every day. So people can comment on that or judge you, and you have your own struggles as just a girl going through puberty, becoming a woman. So if I can assist any other young athletes going through that period to not have the same thoughts that I had, or how to deal with your body image and your body changing, and to understand that stuff is totally normal, then yeah, that's something that I really am passionate about doing.
And I guess just also showing, like you said, like young girls, I guess, going through puberty, that athletes come in all shapes and sizes. You don't have to look one way.
Exactly. I think the biggest thing is understanding that genetics is genetics, and we can't change that. So for girls to understand that is really important.
Well, thank you so much for using your platform, I guess, to do that, and thanks so much, and good luck in Paris as well.
Thanks, Abby. Thank you.
Maddi, it's so nice to be chatting to you. I just wanted to ask, like, after not being at Tokyo, how much more does this one mean?
It means a lot. Yeah, it's since Rio was almost the start of my career, and now 8 years later, I'm a mature athlete, I guess. Not really the end of my career, but it's been a lot. But missing such a big event after obviously training for so long, and then COVID kind of putting a span in the works is pretty hard. But I think it kind of made me who I am today as well. So it was easier knowing. Missing out on Tokyo was easy, knowing that I was going to continue through, so it wasn't, the end. It's been okay.
Yeah. You said you've grown obviously a lot since 2016, which is true, but what do you think are some of the main ways that you have grown, like, I guess, as an athlete and as a person as well?
I think a a lot more life experience. You know, I can look back now with a lot of hindsight, and I think learning a lot from, you know, not even mistakes, but you know, successes as well, just as a person, and being able to think about now, like, who I want to be in the future as well.
Okay.
So I think being able to have that sort of like insight means I've grown.
Yeah,
You know?
that is good. You've got a lot more experience.
Yeah.
Because you're going for 2 events this time, the synchronized 3 meter and also the 3 meter springboard. I just wanted to know how you're feeling about your form in the 3 meter springboard, because I think you came 3rd in the World Cup in April. Are you feeling in good form?
Yeah, no, I've been feeling really good. I think, yeah, this is the best I've been diving in a while, and I think I'm injury free, and I'm just really loving the sport at the moment. So I think, you know, no matter what happens, I just want to be really happy with how I do.
Yeah, and just about the synchronized as well, you and Annabelle have had just so much success since you've been diving, ever since Rio as well. How are you feeling about that?
Good. I'm just, you know, I'm just so lucky to be able to be diving with Annabelle still. We've been together for 10 years. I'm sure she mentioned that. But yeah, I just love her so much, and I think we just want to have a good time. You know, put it all on the line and just see how we go.
How does it actually work? Like with the synchro diving, like who says go? Do you say go? Or?
She counts.
Is that in charge?
Yeah, you know, because she was the older athlete when I
Okay.
started, so I was like, oh, you count. But I find, because when you're on the board, you're really nervous, so I find, like, if I count, I get really out of breath.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So I'm really glad she counts.
It's good that she's able to do that, I guess.
Yeah.
Do you guys, like, ever get sick of each other, or do you just have, like, a really close bond? I mean...
Nah, we got a close bond, and I guess she lives in Melbourne, I live in Brisbane, so it's not like we're together all the time, so, you know, maybe that a bit of distance helps as well, but nah. We always room together when we travel, so we know each other back to front.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, she's like my sister.
I mean, I did ask Annabelle about this, like you said, you're in different states, you train in different states. Like, why do you think it is that you have been able to work so well together?
So when we first started doing synchro, she was still in Brisbane at the time.
Okay.
And then I moved to Brisbane as well, so we had a year or two before she moved back to Melbourne. But I think we've also got a lot of similar strengths with our diving, and then, you know, she's an amazing diver, and I'm pretty good. I think I do all right.
Yes, you are.
So we're pretty adaptable, and yeah, just having all that experience, we're able to kind of put it all together.
Yeah, and I guess just like about like your own form, just like by yourself. You've been on the Australian team for so long, and you've collected quite a few medals recently. Like, are you feeling like you're in your best form, maybe that you have been for quite a while at the moment, or even maybe ever?
Yeah, I think so. It's kind of hard to remember how everything was so long ago,
Yeah.
but, you know, I think I've been making a lot of improvements recently, and yeah, I still think I've got a way to go, which is good. I think there's always something I can be chasing, so I always want to have a goal, and so I think yeah, that's really helpful to me.
What is like that goal? I guess that's the word.
Just get better. You know, there's always little technical things that I want to be working on, and so as I kind of achieve them, yeah, I kind of look at my technique, my technical side, and even like, you know, my mental strength, how I kind of approach competitions and stuff like that. So there's always, you know, something for me I want to get out of competing and training.
And it's just one thing that I actually also just wanted to kind of touch on. So you trained with Georgia Sheehan, who wrote an article recently about just missing out on the Olympics.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to say, like, I guess the quality of diving in Australia, like, that just shows, like, I guess how good it is that it's so hard to just miss out, even if you're really good.
Yeah, I mean, that article was such a beautiful article, you know. Even though I had been to the Olympics, I did miss out in Tokyo, so I do understand. But yeah, it's, you know, women's 3 meter in Australia is so difficult, and it's been really difficult for a lot of years. We've had a lot of successful divers. You know, Annabelle used to be individual, and we had Esther Chin, and, you know, Alysha's amazing, and now we've got Georgia, we've got Brittany O'Brien, so many good divers, and I think, you know, it's kind of the reality of sport as well, and it's what makes, you know, the victories really sweet, is, you know, that there is a lot on the line, and the worst part is that, you know, I know that Georgia puts everything, you know, into training just like I do, so it's not like she hasn't put more than anyone else, you know, or anyone else that misses out. So yeah, I think if anyone hasn't read it, they really should go and read it, because it's a great article, and it's a really great insight into kind of, you know, all the sacrifices that someone makes, but to kind of not make it there, it's really raw.
Yeah, I guess, like, the guts to do that as well. Like, you must be
Yeah.
proud of her that she could do that.
Yeah, it's really a testament to her character of, you know, the kind of person that she is, even though she, you know, she's still really young. She's got a lot ahead of her. So, I'm really proud of her.
Well, the future of Australian diving is looking bright. Thanks so much for your time, Maddi.
No, thank you.
Thank you. Good luck in Paris.
Thank you.
Alicia Koloi won a world title in the 1 metre event earlier this year, but now she makes her Olympics debut in the 3 metre. These are your first games. When did it sink in? Has it sunk in yet?
I think the more media we're doing, the more it's starting to sink in.
Fair enough.
I think the excitement's just building.
Yeah, and I mean, you've been in pretty good form recently. Your first world champs in January, and you won gold in Doha. I guess for a different event that you are going to these games for, but I guess to come out in those really just hard situations that you may be feeling a bit nervous, does that just give you a lot of confidence for Paris?
Yeah, absolutely. So having those experiences under my belt has given me a lot of confidence going into these games, and just knowing that I've done it before, I can do it again under pressure.
Did it surprise you a bit, I guess, how well you maybe performed at those? Because I guess you have just kind of come out and performed just really well in the past couple of years.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's been absolutely no expectation, just belief behind me, which is, I think, the great mentality to go into these games with. And once again, no expectations, just great belief.
Yeah, but I guess diving is a sport where if you come first or second, you're in the Olympics, but if not, you miss out, which is really unfortunate. But
yes.
Do you enjoy that about it, that you have to perform well on the day?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, it does come down to the day. We're all great divers, but it is on the day who is holding their stuff together and can be mentally where they need to be.
Your sister is actually the one that got you into diving, I think. Have you
Yes.
thanked her a lot for that?
Yeah, I absolutely owe everything to her, getting me into the sport. I mean, my family behind me, they're such amazing supporters. But yeah, I wouldn't be where I'm at without her.
Is your family heading over to Paris?
I'm fortunate enough to have my dad
That's
going to be
great.
in the stands, so I'm really excited to have him there.
Are you going to go on a holiday afterwards?
Yes, me and my dad are going to go on a 2-week holiday where we've just got a tiny backpack. So
Okay.
yeah, we're going to be backpacking around Europe after.
Yeah, that's going to be super exciting. But yeah, like I said, your first games. Do you think it puts more pressure, I guess, on you, having to perform really well, or do you enjoy the pressure?
I think pressure is just a part of sport, so it's not going to be more or less. I think having a family member in the crowd will give me a boost of confidence, and I know that they don't have any expectations for me. They're just super proud of everything I've achieved.
Yeah, that's good. I guess you have that mindset. And is there anyone just in the village that you're particularly wanting to meet when you're over there?
I haven't really thought about village life too much. I think we've just been focused on one dive at a time.
Yeah, I guess it is great that you're getting to head over to these games where there's not as many restrictions and you do have your dad in the stands.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it'll be a really great experience.
Still at high school, Ellie Cole is also off to her first Olympics while still in Year 12. Ellie, it's so nice to meet you. Going to your first games and you're still in high school, which is pretty incredible. Has it sunk in yet that you're going to be, you're wearing this polo shirt, you're an Olympian now?
Look, it hasn't really sunk in yet. I reckon it'll sink in when I get to Southend, which is the first international training camp. So yeah, but I'm really excited. I think it's going to be such a surreal experience, and yeah, it's going to be so cool.
Your friends and everything at school as well, do they think it's really cool? How do they feel about it?
Oh my gosh, yeah, they're very excited. They did this entire thing for me. It's online. I think the Australian Olympic Committee posted it on Instagram and TikTok maybe, and yeah, oh my gosh, it was so surreal. I just walked out. I came from morning maths, and I walked in, and everyone was just started screaming. They jumped out and cheered,
Wow.
and yeah, it was really cool.
So you weren't expecting any of that?
No, I was not.
I would have been pretty overwhelmed. You're pretty overwhelmed when you just...
Look, yeah, it was overwhelming, but it was really sweet. It was a really sweet gesture, and yeah, my friends are just they're so kind, they're so sweet. The cohort's amazing.
It's great that your school's been so supportive of everything, because I know some athletes they go to sporting schools, but it's so great that they have been so supportive.
Yeah, they've been so amazing.
Yeah, and I guess you're only 17 years old, like I mentioned. You're kind of the baby of the team, I guess. And I just wanted to ask about Melissa, who is someone that you've obviously probably looked up to a lot. What does it mean to be going to these games, I guess, competing against her, but also representing Australia with her?
Yeah, I'm so excited. From when I was little, Mel has been such an inspiration. Just her hard work and dedication at training is it's so inspiring. And now being on an Olympic team with her, yeah, it's going to be amazing.
Is it a bit weird having to compete against her? Because I imagine you two are both very good friends, but you've had to fight for medals many times.
I don't see competitions as fighting for a medal. I see it as kind of more of a personal kind of experience, and so going into it, I'm kind of it's me competing against myself. I just want to make myself proud, do what I can do, and so I think it doesn't really feel like a competition against people in a way.
That's
but yeah.
good. I guess what do you learn from someone with her though, just going to the games with her and having been training with her for so long?
Yeah, definitely learning so much. I guess I'm just going to ask so many questions because she has so much experience around this stuff, and I'm so I have nothing, so I'm just going to be asking so many questions. It's going to be good.
Well, it's super exciting that it's coming up so close. I was wondering when you're in the village, do you have a list of all of the people that you want to meet, all of the other athletes?
honestly, I think I'm just going to be walking through and just asking everyone. Like, I haven't set a list, but it's going to be so surreal being amongst such amazing athletes. Even just in the Australian team, there's so many amazing people, and I'm just so excited to meet everyone.
I mean, it's going to be such an incredible experience. It's something that so many like kids just dream of, and like to actually be there, just seeing all of the other athletes is incredible.
Yeah, it's going to be so
Definitely.
good.
And I also wanted to ask, because you're going to be, I think, you're in year 12, so doing your HSC around the time of the games. Like, how's that all going to work?
Well, I'm actually not sitting trials just because I'm competing while trials are happening, and you can't resit them once they've been sat. And so I'm just doing HSC, so I'm kind of not taking a break from school, but really focusing on diving right now. And so when I come back from the games, it's going to be straight study, going to be grinding, trying to get that good ATAR.
But I mean, if this is something that you will pursue, like, again, like, will continue to pursue, like, when you leave school, like, I guess it is so important that you have people, like, supporting you and that you can focus on this as well.
It's good to be able to juggle multiple things,
Have you had, like, really good, like, pathways just coming through being able to compete at this level? Like, has it been quite easy to just keep getting better and juggling school?
It's definitely been a challenge, but I think just relying on the support of everyone around me, like my school, my team, my friends, my cohort, my family, my coach, literally everyone has just been so supportive, and definitely couldn't do without them.
Well, it's so great that you're going. Thank you so much, Ellie. It was so great to chat to you, and good luck in Paris.
Thank you so much.
And finally, hear from record-breaking 5-time Olympian Melissa Wu. Well, congrats, Melissa, first of all. You've probably heard this a billion times. You've done a lot of interviews, obviously. You've been wearing these swimmers for quite a while, but like, has it actually just sunk in yet that you know this incredible achievement going to 5 games?
I think so. I think now that we're getting close to Paris, it's sinking in, especially now having the team here in Sydney for camp over these 3 days. It's very exciting, and I think that moment when we get on the plane on Monday, it'll all start to feel really real, and I can't wait to get over there.
Yeah, and I guess like when you are kind of just really young at the games, you're probably like taking it all in, going, this is really exciting. But I wanted to know like if your mindset has kind of like changed at all going to your 5th games, knowing that, you know, you might be getting to possibly the end of your career. Like, has it changed?
I think so. I think at this point in my career I've learnt to appreciate a lot more, and definitely very grateful for the opportunity to be able to represent Australia and go to 5 games. I think this year has definitely been, or this whole, I guess, cycle since Tokyo has been quite difficult with injuries. So I think going into trials I knew it was going to be very tough, and so when I made the team, I guess I made a promise to myself to just really soak it up and enjoy this one.
Yeah. I guess, like you said, there's been a lot of injuries, I guess, which is unfortunate, but also just a shorter cycle this time, only being 3 years instead of 4. And I guess you've been around since before Tokyo, since there was that 5 gap between Rio and Tokyo. Like, do you enjoy that it is 3 years, you've got less time to prepare almost in a way?
Yeah, definitely. I think that if it had been 4, it probably would have been tough. So actually I think it's a bit of a blessing this time that it's only 3. And obviously I had a really good experience in Tokyo. So I think knowing that originally, you know, I didn't set my sights too long term. I kind of focused more on com games after that. And then I was like, oh, it's only, you know, a little bit longer. So that definitely helped drive me and motivate me to try and go for Paris.
Does it also just give you like, I mean, like kind of more time to work on just little things that you want to like perfect and everything?
Yeah, definitely. I think there's been a lot of, I guess, changing little things around injury, which has been a bit frustrating. But I think finally that little bit leading to trials, and now I've been able to build a little bit more momentum with technique, and I'm definitely feeling a lot better than I felt at the beginning of the year. Especially we had to get the quota spots in Doha at World Championships. That was really tough for me. I wasn't in good form then, so it's been good to see that progress throughout this year, and now feeling better leading into Paris.
Is it a bit frustrating that I guess you can like be one of the best in the world, but then if you don't perform like super well on the day, you might not like make the Olympics? Like, do you like that there's a lot of pressure, or is it annoying when you're not in good form?
I think it's just, that's the nature of sport, I guess. Everybody's under the pressure, and you have to do it on the day, and it is really hard. And it's something that I actually did really struggle with a lot throughout my whole career, so it's something that I've had to work really hard on. But at the same time, I think having worked on it, and then plus with experience, now I do think that I do kind of thrive a little bit more under a little bit of pressure. It kind of helps me lift, and when there's, people watching or it's in a competition, it does feel a lot easier to kind of build on that and use that energy, whereas before I used to just get really nervous and not deal with it very well.
Must be so nice that there is going to be a crowd this time as well.
Yes, it was really strange in Tokyo not having a crowd. It was okay at the pool. We had a lot of media still and people watching, but I do remember walking into the stadium for the opening, and it was very strange when it was completely empty. So looking forward to more crowds this time.
Just watching it on TV must have been like a ghost town there.
Yeah, it was a bit. Yeah, especially towards the end of the game. So I think I'm looking forward to that too this time, the atmosphere, and everyone's going to be so excited, I think. But it's going to be the normal Olympics after COVID, so that'll be good.
So excited to hearing all of that noise on TV. Someone I do want to ask about who has made the team also diving on the 10 metre is Ellie Cole, who I think was only a couple of years ago qualifying this time than you were when you made your first games. I just wanted to ask, is there like anything that you kind of like learned from her, like since just diving alongside her?
Yeah, actually, because I train with Ellie, I love watching her train, and having her up there all the time training with me, it's very motivating for me, actually. And while this year's, I guess it's been hard, there's a few young guns coming up, especially in our NSWIS program. I can't train exactly like them anymore. I've got to look after my body a bit more. So I think in one sense it's been hard because I do want to do what they're doing, but I know that I have to do it a little bit more smart. But at the same time, seeing Ellie and all the other girls coming up, it's very exciting for me to see that the future generation. And I find it really inspiring at training every day. She's a great diver and a great person.
And like you said, like just seeing all of these young guns coming through, obviously you've been involved with this sport for quite a while. You're one of the legends of it. But like how great is it just seeing like the pathways change? Have you seen any big like just differences in the sport where it's easier to get into it?
I think the pathways, I think like any exposure is good, especially, with Sam Fricker on TikTok. I think that diving definitely gets a little bit more exposure than it did before. So I think compared to in other cities in Australia, I think in Sydney we do have probably a bigger program like at that bottom level, especially in our elite pathway, bringing kids through, trying to fast track them to the Olympics basically. But I think it would be great if we could always get more people in. I think that's one of the hardest things for us because you never know along the way with injuries, you lose a few. We just don't have as many people at that bottom level like other sports. So, but I think it is getting better over time.
It is great. I've seen some of Sam's TikToks as well. There's one thing that I wanted to touch on, kind of on the topic of injuries. So you went on SAS a couple of years ago, and I think you spent like 4 or 5 months kind of recovering from an injury that you got after that. And I guess not only to like come back from that, but to also be going to your 5th games. Like, did you actually think that you might have to kind of retire after that?
I did actually. I really second guessed, and I kind of just made it to Commonwealth Games, and that was a real struggle for me. To be honest, I probably shouldn't have kept diving on that injury. I think there was always like a next comp, and then it was Commonwealth Games, and it was still a little bit of COVID, so we ended up having to do like a lot of travel to make sure we could get to the comp. So we didn't try and come back and forth because of COVID. So that year was really rough for me, and then I think after that I was really like, I'm not sure that I should keep going, and I took a bit of a break, and then I decided to come back, and I don't really know, and then I just decided that I would start doing individual again, because I was just doing synchro at Commonwealth Games with little Charlie Petrov, which I loved. So I think it's been good. It's been like interesting, and I kind of just sort of went with the flow and went with how I felt, and I think now looking back I'm like, oh wow, I'm not like, I'm really proud that I made that decision to kind of keep going and pushing myself.
Yeah, well, it's great that you kept pushing yourself, even though you could have made it worse, but it's great that you're still here. Thanks so much, Melissa. Good luck in Paris.
Thanks, Abby.
Thank you.